This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Today's video is sponsored by Invading. In just a minute, I'm going to talk about an offer exclusive from them to you that I think you should check out. Before I get to that, though, let's ask a question. A question that's commonly asked, and that is, given our present circumstance on the international stage, where would we be if Donald Trump was still president? It's something that's asked all the time. It's akin to, what would Obama do? Or what would conservatives, how would they act if Obama did X or Hillary Clinton did X relative to Donald Trump? It's a similar question. And we know how Donald Trump would be acting, not just based on past performance and how obsequious Donald Trump was toward the Russian leader, Vladimir Putin. We know based on his own words. We know how he would act based on what he said yesterday on a podcast with Sexton and Clay Travis. Two just ne'er-do-wells, to be sure. Clay Travis, I don't know why anybody would be taking any advice about anything from Clay Travis, who said at the beginning of the pandemic that only a few hundred people would end up dying because of the coronavirus. And here we sit with almost 1 million Americans, just Americans, almost 1 million people have died, proving him to be colossally wrong. Who would take advice, political or otherwise, from this dum-dum? Buck Sexton, the same thing. Tried his hand at being a regular, moderate political commentator on CNN and elsewhere. Didn't work out for him. Now he's a firebrand for Donald Trump. I'm going to play a segment of interview where Donald Trump just effusive praise for Vladimir Putin and his incursion, his invasion of Ukraine. But before I do, a word from today's sponsor, Invading. Did you know that tons of companies aggressively collect and trade your personal information without your knowledge or your consent? Your home address, your employment history, even your social security number. While you have the right to request your personal information be deleted, these data brokers make it real difficult to do so. And who has the time to chase down all of these companies all over the place anyway? Enough is enough. I just signed up for Invading, and Invading is a service that automatically contacts data brokers and requests the removal of your personal information. Invading knows the process for these brokers and will do the complicated work for you. Protect your information from the eyes of the internet. The first 100 people to use code Dollemore at the link below will get 20% off of Invading. Let Invading do the dirty work. Head to Invading.com/Dollemore and use code Dollemore to clear the internet of your personal information. I cannot even begin to tell you about the landslide of daily spam emails that I receive. I'm not talking crazy oddball spam. These are targeted messages in my inbox directed right to me. I must have signed up for some email update from a couple of companies or something, or maybe I accidentally approved future notifications when I purchased something online. We're talking 20, 40, even 80 or more of these emails every single day. But no more, thanks to Invading. You should protect yourself too and support this channel at the same time. The first 100 people to use code Dollemore at the link below will get 20% off of Invading. Go to Invading.com/Dollemore now to scrub your information from the World Wide Web. So let's answer that question about what Donald Trump would be doing right now if he were still president of the United States. Thankfully, he is the ex-president. But we can answer that question. What would he be doing right now with Vladimir Putin on the world stage invading the country of Ukraine, a sovereign nation that it borders? We know because Donald Trump called it genius and just heaped praise on a brutal dictatorial scumbag like Vladimir Putin. Listen to this segment from this podcast yesterday. It is not shocking because it's Donald Trump and everything that comes out of his mouth is reprehensible, But it is nonetheless alarming that 50% of the country, 40% of the country calls themselves Republican and looks up to this man as a policy maven about matters of international import. Watch this.
I've never seen anything like it. I don't think our country has ever been so low. You could take the 5 worst presidents in the history of our country and put them together. I don't think they've done the damage that this administration has done.
Mr. President, in the last 24 hours, we know Russia has said that they are recognizing 2 breakaway regions of Ukraine. And now this White House is stating that this is an invasion. That's a strong word. What went wrong here? What has the current occupant of the Oval Office done that he could have done differently?
Well, what went wrong was a rigged election. And what went wrong is a candidate that shouldn't be there and a man that has no concept of what he's doing. I went in yesterday and there was a television screen and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army tanks than I've ever seen. They're going to keep peace all right. No, but think of it. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well. Very, very well. By the way, this never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable. This would never have happened. But here's a guy that says, I'm going to declare a big portion of Ukraine independent. He used the word independent. And we're going to go out and we're going to go in and we're going to help keep peace. You got to say that's pretty savvy. And you know what the response was from Biden? There was no response. They didn't have one for that. No, it's very sad. Very sad.
Do you think the southern border is just going to continue to deteriorate? Last year.
That should alarm you. I mean, one, it's word salad like it is. He's the male version of Sarah Palin with the word salad. But this is genius, he says. Putin declares a big portion of Ukraine. Even that shows his hand about what he believes the worth of Ukraine is. Calling it the Ukraine as though it's still a region of the Soviet Union and not its own country. A democracy. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful, he says. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? How smart is that? And then equates it to having a peacekeeping force, legitimizing Putin's invasion, calling his troops a peacekeeping force, keeping the peace from whom? Himself. And these 2 dum-dums, Buck Sexton, who should know better, having been a former employee of the CIA, in what capacity, who knows? Maybe he was cleaning toilets. He certainly wasn't an undercover. And then Clay Travis again, a sportscaster, whose most famous moment was going on with Brooke Baldwin and saying, I'm a fan of the First Amendment and boobs. Real intellectual wonderkin. It is amazing the worshipful attitude that these idiots have for their idiot, Donald Trump. Because as soon as dumb Donald Trump got off the phone, Clay Travis said this. He couldn't contain himself. I just want to pinch myself. We just talked to Donald Trump. We were at Mar-a-Lago. Oh my God. Listen to this laughable moment.
But man, he addressed every single subject known to man. He talked a lot on the air and off the air about how much Rush meant to him and how talented he believed Rush was. And he was just phenomenal for that entire hour. And, sometimes you get to do, and Buck, I know you feel this way too, we get to do sometimes things where you pinch yourself and say, hey, this is pretty awesome. Being at Mar-a-Lago for an hour with 45, President Trump himself in his element as he decides what he's going to do going forward in both 22 and 24 is one of those moments where you want to pinch yourself and say, I can't believe we get to do this for a living.
Ooh, how exciting, Clay Travis. Can you believe it, Buck Sexton? We get to be with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Gross. The fact that you had to rush him off the topic as he moved on to ramble on about the border after he had said something that you know, if you're adroit about politics at all, was going to be a moment where dum-dums like me are talking about it on YouTube and elsewhere across the media sphere. The Republican Party is bereft of dignity. They have sold their souls to a sinister coward in Donald Trump, a multi-time evader of the draft, dodger of the draft, who acts like, I'm a big tough guy. Putin wouldn't be doing this with me. Putin ran roughshod over Donald Trump and the United States during Donald Trump's presidency. Donald Trump bowed down, standing shoulder to shoulder with him, committing what I believe to be treason, taking the side of an enemy over the side of his multiplicity of intelligence outfits in the United States relative to Russia's interference in our election in 2016. I know what they say, but Putin's right here, and I don't know why he would lie. Gross. Again, what do you think, though? I would love to know what you think. Call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Thanks for your engagement. Thanks for subscribing and liking the videos, commenting about dumb Donald Trump's lack of international relations experience or acumen. Thanks for doing that. Follow me on social media. I'd love to connect with you there. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, of course, Twitter. And if I bring you some value, if I do something that you believe is worth a contribution, worth support, please consider supporting and producing my work right here on YouTube. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member, or you can head on over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Both those are great ways to support what I do right here, and you could be a part helping grow this particular operation. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.